yogurt. I'm going to use this to make a spread. I'm making sort of a BLT-ish thing, but I'm changing some of the components of it. So the tea, the tomato, tomatoes aren't exactly in season yet. It's the beginning of May, and tomatoes aren't really, really good. They don't start getting good until June at the absolute earliest. But July, August, September, that's more when tomatoes are good. And I thought, well, how am I going to get tomato in here if I'm making a BLT? And then I thought, oh, sun-dried tomatoes. And I thought, all right, well, how can I incorporate the sun-dried tomatoes into this sandwich? And I realized, I can make a cream cheese spread and then put the sun-dried tomatoes in that. I want to really whip this until it's smooth. Sun-dried tomatoes in question. I don't actually work with these very often. I'm not a huge fan of sun-dried tomatoes. I don't dislike them. I remember in the 90s when there was that big craze and everyone was obsessed with them. Sometimes you have to re-soak them. If you're going to cook with them, like if you're going to apply heat to them or put them on a pizza, definitely soak them in water first. But these are tender enough and delicate enough. I'm just going to put them directly in. That's about a quarter of a cup of chopped sun-dried tomatoes. I don't know. I'm making it up as I go along. And this little guy is a shallot. For years, I never used these in my cooking because I was poor, and then it suddenly hit me today, wait, Sarah, you're not poor anymore, you can use shallots. So, shallot. These little guys are nice little mild onions. They're very similar to red onions, so I mean, you could always just use red onions, but I only need a little bit of it for this recipe. In fact, I'm not even going to use the whole shallot, and having bits of leftover onion in your fridge isn't always the best thing. We're going to finely mince about half to a quarter to a half of this shallot. I'm feeling ambitious, I'll use a half. You will see this in my next episode, actually. The fate of the other half of the shallot. Now you want to take your time when you mince this and be careful and make sure it's nice and small. I don't like running into bits of oniony stuff in my things that I'm eating if it's raw. Some salt, of course. And I'm going to make it redder with some paprika. I've never made this before, so I'll taste it. Oh, it's all right. So we dealt with the tea, now we're going to deal with the B, which is the bacon, which might confuse you because I started off the episode talking about chicken breast. So the whole inspiration, how I got from having frozen chicken breast and kale and things, and like, what am I going to make, to, oh, bacon and lettuce, tomato, BLT. Chicken breast, on its own like this with no skin, in my opinion, it has quite a few uses. You could put it in soup, you could bread it and fry it, or you can cut it up really small and put it in a Chinese stir fry or something like that. I don't really care for skinless, boneless chicken breast sauteed in a pan. It gets dry and tough and I really don't care for it roasted like this without any skin on it. Bleh. And usually if you're preparing chicken for a sandwich, you want to roast it. And I thought, well, dang it doesn't have skin. But then I thought, wait a minute, bacon is essentially like chicken skin. It's just full of fat, full of flavor, full of amazing. And so I thought, hey, I will wrap up the chicken breast in bacon, and that will make it all better. I have a nice non-stick skillet on standby. Well, my idea with this chicken breast is I'm going to slice some fillets of it as thinly as I can and still keep it intact, and try to make them roughly the size of my sandwich bread. You saw my award-winning episode for shallow fried chicken. This is the same prepping process, really. I'm making 2 sandwiches, there's one. And I hope to make another 2 of these tomorrow for dinner as well, so I'm going to try to get 4 nice flat pieces out of this without slicing my hand off. once before. I imagine I just get a piece of bacon, or 2 pieces of bacon. Guess I'll lay them side by side. Wash my hands so I can pick up the camera. Squish it over a little bit. And just fold them over on top of the breast. Now, I better do 3 pieces of bacon. I need to overlap them slightly, otherwise they're all just going to fall apart. So 3 slices of bacon. I'm not going to close up on that again, you just have to use your imagination. Fold the 3 pieces of bacon over. Oh yes, that is beautiful. And just for extra insurance, I'm going to secure the edge with a toothpick, or maybe 2 toothpicks if I have to. Weaving it in and out and in and out with the breast and the bacon. And there you have it. There's your little chicken breast bacon steak. Repeat the process with the other. Okay, I think this is going to be good. The bacon is going to do 2 things. It's going to lubricate the breast, but it's also going to season it. I didn't put any salt on it or anything. And I'm going to put toothpicks on the other side just in case. Meat has a tendency to shrink when you cook it. And you can't be sure if they'll both shrink at the same rate. A lot of hand washing in this episode. Time to saute these. Doing this on the stovetop, I have heated it about medium-ish. I want to slowly render some of the fat out of this bacon first before I attempt to crisp it up. I really need to make sure that the breast in the center is done, because you're not allowed to eat slightly undercooked chicken. So I'm starting it covered, medium, let the bacon ooze its juices a little bit. I should also talk about bread. I got this bread at the farmer's market. It's locally baked. Yay! I am going to toast it though, so that when I put the spread on, it'll get melty and yummy. As you can see, they're starting to release some nice fat and juices, so I'm going to chance flipping them over. I'm really glad I put the toothpicks in because they are starting to shrink a little bit, and the bacon is wanting to curl a little bit like bacon does. So I'm going to keep it nice, low and slow, put the lid back on. It's still quite raw at this point, especially the chicken. We'll check on it in another 5 minutes.
And in the meantime, I'm going to snuggle with a gigantic kitten.
Alright, a lot of fat has rendered out, and there's a lot of water actually that's sitting around in here. So I'm going to take that lid off and let the water evaporate. Let this stuff start to brown a little bit. Flip them again. Ooh, we're starting to get a little color. Finally picking up color. Let's try another 5 minutes. Alright, I declare these more or less done. I just want the bacon to be a little bit crispier, so I've turned the heat up. Now I'm going to prepare the other components of the sandwich. So I'm going to toast these 4 slices of bread. I'm going to put the spread onto these things now while they're still warm. It would probably be delicious just to eat this the way it is. Turn the heat off of that. It's pretty much done. Now the L component of the BLT, kale. Why kale, you might ask? Number 1, it's free from my garden. And number 2, it's healthy and delicious. And number 3, bacon is a really bold, strong flavor. We've got a lot of bold, strong flavors going on in the spread. Kale is a bold, strong flavor. It's sturdier. It'll hold up better than lettuce. Take you out. And behold, their bacony, sort of lettucey, sort of tomatoey, really new, nifty recipe, and I think it's going to be tasty goodness. I have a moment of truth. Is it good or isn't it?
I quit.